guys, I'm James from Yoga Plus Therapies. And today I'm just going to take you through some really simple strength exercise and a couple of stretches as well that might be a key to help improve your running. I'm a runner myself and I've found these exercises invaluable. We're going to cover the key things of the importance of the calf and the thigh strength and just a little bit around the core and the back. So the very first exercise is the single calf raise. So it's all about getting that strength into the calf area. The primary muscle here is used to stabilise, which gives us that springiness. So it's really protective. The stronger these muscles, it makes the tendons stiffer, and this is going to make your running more efficient, and it's also going to help reduce that risk of injury. You might want to have some support when you do this, a chair or a sturdy wall or table. And when we do this, we want to think about keeping very good control. So we want the foot not to roll, but you want to keep it very stable through the ankle, pushing down through the big toe side more. So you're feeling that very good alignment. So our goal to do with this is what we'd like to be able to do is 25 to 35 single calf raises. This is where you want to build up to. As we do this practice, think about keeping good core so we're not collapsing. So the feeling is as you push down, you're going straight up through the crown of the head. Slowly up, slowly down. Remembering to breathe. So when you first start, maybe you start at 10. But gradually, as I said, you want to build up to that 25, 30, 35. With good control and technique. Very simple exercise that you can fit in. Do it every day. Twice a day even. Build up the volume. Once you've done one side, make sure your leg feels nice and relaxed, try the other side. Very good control, remember when we do it, keep good control. Knees straightish, good tummy in, straight line, straight up and down. Breathing. Gradually building your numbers up. So this is the single calf raise. Now you can challenge this later on by adding a bit of load to it. So you could hold a weight on the side that you're coming up and down on. Exactly the same technique, but adding more resistance, more weight, more load. Often a heavy load is what we use to recover the foot and the calf after injury, especially with tendon injuries. So a simple technique to build up a little bit more strength by adding resistance, increasing the intensity to the exercise. So this is the single calf raise exercise. Now the next one is the single squat. So normal squat, we have our feet about hip width. We bend the knees in line with the feet. The tails go back. We keep a neutral back so it's not too arched or too curved. So you feel relaxed and comfortable. You feel the power through the heel. And that nice action, quads, glutes working together. So single squat, It's all of that, but with weight mostly through one of the legs. So if you do it through the left leg, you have your right foot lifted, and you do that same action, bending and straightening. You can have light support if you need. So 90-95% load on this leg, tiny bit on the other leg, just for balance. How much you bend depends on how your mobility and your strength feels. Our goal here again is to try to build up to about 25. You may start with about 10 or less, depends on how you're feeling, how strong you are at the time. Basic principle is that when you're strengthening, you should feel you just get that bit of light fatigue by the time you've finished your set. So very simple. We see that side on, so the tail goes back, neutral backs, so that good control. You can almost have the foot off the ground. So if we do the other side as well. Feel how you press through the heel to give you that power to lift up from. You should be feeling it in the thigh, in the buttocks, work in the ankle, but the joints should be comfortable. No strain in the joints. Spine neutral, hearts are open. It's a single squat. And again, you could add some resistance to this too, using a weight. You can even use a band. You could put a band around your foot and use it to provide resistance. More load makes it more challenging. Good. So this is the single squat exercise. Now, the third exercise is to strengthen the outer hips. For this one, you could make use of a band, placing around your ankles. This is a side step. You have the knees slightly bent, upright posture, and with good control, you step out and in. How hard this depends on the resistance of the band. Simple technique. Depends on the space you got, how many steps you do one way to the other. Ideally, what we want to try to do is build up to about 30 steps in each direction. Check you keep your toes facing forward and that you lead with the heels and that you're trying to feel this work on the outer hips. When you step, keep the bodies upright and the pelvis is steady and controlled. This builds that lateral hip control. So when you're taking load on one leg, nice simple exercise as well. So this is the lateral hip strengthener with the side step exercise. Just using one of these easy to get now resistance bands. Okay, the next exercises are for the core and for the back. So, get over a little. So the plank exercise, very simple one for your core. 2 ways to do it. You can be in hand position, press the floor so your shoulders are wide, draw the navel up, legs out, and feel that nice straight line position, keeping the heads up, just holding and breathing nice and stable. What we'd like to do here is build up to about 30 seconds. You might start with 10. Watching things like not sagging or collapsing the shoulders. And checking that you feel the work on the front tummy, not in the spine, into the back. So you shouldn't feel any pressure in the back. So this variation requires you to have good wrists. If you find your wrists are not so comfortable with this one, option number 2 is to do it off the forearms. So you can drop shoulders and lift up. If you're very new to planking and you haven't developed the strength yet, option is also to go off the knees. You can start in this position. So it's all about finding the one that you can work out comfortably, just slightly nudging your boundaries. Then you can gradually build each one up to 30 seconds before progressing to your next level. You can even progress this by lifting one leg. Giving it 15 seconds each side. So this is the plank exercise. Now, the final one here is the back strengthener. So you lay on your tummy, legs long and flat. Again, couple variations. You can have the arms by the sides, lifting head and chest up. You can have the arms interlocked. You can have the arms out to the sides. Whichever position, our goal again is we're going to try to hold for about 30 seconds. Breathing. Again, you may start at 10 seconds and gradually build it up. We're trying to feel the work into this upper back spine, not too much in the lower. Just to help the good posture, the upper back posture, so it keeps our chest open to aid the running and breathing. As you get stronger, you could even reach the arms forward. Whichever position works. So this is the snake exercise. Now, last couple of things that might be helpful are breathing and a couple of light stretches you could do after you're running. It's a simple one to do. Sometimes you can get a little bit tight, the hammy. You can place your leg up on some support. This works well. Could be a rail, a seat, fence, whatever you got handy. Hips face forward, soft knee, nice lengthened spine. Lean forward from the hips until you feel that good stretch coming through. Just breathe and enjoy the stretch. "20 to 30 seconds or so. Sometimes just a nice one at the end of the run. See how it feels, pointing versus flexing. Foot a little in, a little out. It's all about exploring and seeing, what is it you feel best, what you need the most. Once you do one side, do the other side. Correct the pelvises, soft knee, forward. If you're really tight, maybe have a little bend in that knee. Keep the spines more open, not all hunchy. Shoulders easy. Breathing. Again, exploring. Where does it need it most? This is simple hamstring stretch. Often find it's nice to stretch the shoulders too. Just stretch out the shoulders on the back of a chair or a fence, a rail. You can do this with straight arms. Keeping that back nice and lengthened and open. You can even do it on the bent arms. Gets a bit more into the lats. Simple, nice, easy releasing stretch. Good. Now the last one is the thigh stretch. Again, a couple of ways to do. One option, using the chair, taking hold of the leg. What our goal is to get a bit of hip stretch with this. So we're into the stretch. So the hip stretched first, and then we bring the leg bent for the thigh. Keeping upright, slightly tuck, keep good balance. Do that on both sides. Got that hip extended a little, opening up the front hip, front knee bent, and bending the leg. Check there's no pressure on the knee. Good. Another way to do this, if you're a bit more mobile, get on the ground in a lunge. Got that hip extension a bit more. Opposite hand reaches back and holds the foot. This is a little bit stronger, not for everyone, but very good stretch to get a bit more on the outer part of the thigh. And then the other side. Lunge, leg bent, opposite hand holding, this hand support. Remember always to breathe, relax into it. Don't force it, don't get tense. always feel comfortable when you stretch. So these are your primary ones. If you need any extra stretching, sometimes you can be a bit tight in the fronts of the legs. Very simple stretch for that. It's just to sit on your haunches. Nice and upright. Feeling that stretch. Make sure the feet are straight, not curved in. Some people even need additional stretch, just lifting up to get that stretch into the front feet and toes. So these are just extra ones. Sometimes just people need that little bit extra release. The other one is the deep squat. This may help to have something to support yourself. You have your feet maybe a little wider than the hips. It depends on the shape of your hips. And your feet may be forward or they may be a bit turned out, again, according to the shape of your hips, what works best. The goal of deep squat is to sink down, so you try to get your sit bones below the knees in a way that you can keep the tails turned out rather than hunched and tucked. This is really helpful to get that mobility into the ankles as well. It's a nice release. Very good practice that you find might help if you're running in the long term. If you persevere a little bit of this lunging, this deep squatting position. You know, when you're really tight, you might be starting higher. Just gradually. It can take many months to gradually go into this one, especially if you're very tight. So be patient. Check that there's no strain on your knees or your back. Good. This is the deep squat stretch. Finally, let's a little bit about feet and then breathing. So again, these are extra things that you may find helpful. So sometimes you can just have a little bit of weakening in the feet that affects your running. So it's worthwhile knowing a simple practice to help strengthen the feet. This one we call foot shortening. What you do is you lift your toes up, lower them down, and then see if you can try to draw the front foot towards the heel foot. So when you do that, you feel the arches are lifting up. You're not scrunching the toes under, keep the toes long. Just have that sense that you're shortening the feet and you feel the strength into those feet. You can hold this for a few seconds. When you first start, take it easy. You might cramp a bit. Gradually build the time of the hold, again up to 30 seconds. Remember to breathe. If it's too much, you can just contract and relax. It's like you're trying to feel you're shortening the front foot towards the heel foot. Very simple practice that might just aid your feet a little if you find you've got slight weakness in those inner muscles of your feet. Gives you a stronger platform to push off from when you're running. Great. Lastly is breathing. So breathing is pretty important to running. The main thing though we can do with breathing as well is to aid recovery. So there's this concept called non-sleep deep rest, which is about how we can recover really quickly after doing exercise. And deep breathing can be a way to do it. A good way to do this is just to lay yourself down, but if you can't, you Just sit in a chair, and you basically just want to be in a relaxed place. Chest is open, shoulders nice and easy. I'm just going to breathe very long and slow and deep into the belly, through the nose. So just breathe in, and breathe all the way out. Long breaths, 5 counts, 6 counts, 7 counts, 8 counts in, what works for you. 5, 6, 7 or 8 counts out. If it feels safe, do it with your eyes closed. It's good to practice this 2, 3, 4 minutes after you finish your run. Very good. So I hope you found these simple exercises to improve your running helpful. And until next time, from James at Yoga Plus Therapies, bye.